Today we're looking at this set of interchangeable needles from KnitPro, and you've been seeing me using them the last couple of weeks on this one. They come in a box that looks like this. One of the reasons why I actually chose this set specifically was that it came in the box. So instead of like a little pouch or something, you get a actual box for it, which was very attractive to me. And it opens with this square here. I can never, oh, this way. So just pull this and needles. The little square thing has a magnet on it, and it closes really nicely. It's really... Inside we have, of course, the needles, and I have most of them here, and the last two are here, plus a cable. I think there were 4 cables in this set, and I am using all but one. So yeah, I don't know what I did before that, but inside there's this little pouch, and there's the last cable that I have left, and there are all these little stoppers with little keys for them. So every set of cables comes with a set of stoppers so that you can put those on your work. Really practical when you're leaving something. Does mean that I have a lot of whips, but you know, I'll get to it someday. Probably. Then there is a little what are these called? It's like a gauge thing where you can see what size the needles are after the inscription on the needles themselves have been worn off. So there's that. And then there was a shawl pin. Not exactly sure what to use it for, but I guess I will knit myself a shawl and use it. It's very pretty, but not a reason to buy this set. It's sort of gimmicky. It's a little bit like the buttons. Like if I buy buttons for specific projects, it's fine. But if I just get them, it's like I'm never gonna use these. They're just going to lay somewhere in a closet and not be used because I didn't specifically need them for anything. Let's start, because the review is basically for you if you're considering buying something like this. Should you get this? The set is a little bit more expensive than if you choose something that just has a pouch, but all of the things inside are probably going to be the same. So I think we should start with the negatives, and I promise there will be positives after. I always get complaints from people saying that I'm so negative, but just trying to be honest, okay? And reality is never, wow, everything was awesome! Rarely, sometimes, not always. The bad things about this set is mostly related to the box. So they made this really nice box, and it is nice, but the finishing is eh. On the outside here you have it's rubbery fabric, and it looks sort of like faux crocodile or snake skin, or I don't know, something like that. It's not ugly per se, but it's not the prettiest, and it's pilling. And it was when I took it out of the box already, so it's sort of just coming off. It was glued badly, or it's so fragile that it can't really take anywhere, which is sad. On the camera, I think this looks like some kind of metal. It's not. It's a piece of cardboard, I think, with the same fabric on it, and it will, I think, with time start wearing down, and that's a shame, I think. On the back, they put sort of like, you know, on the game board, you have this fuzzy fabric. It's a little bit like the surface of a peach, which is really nice. I think this, if they just put this on the entire box, it would have probably been too much, but it would have been better, I think. This is very nice. This is not really all that nice. Although it looks nice on camera, I guess. Inside, I have it's upside down. We have the logo here, and I like that it's not on the front of the of the box. I like to not have too many logos in my face. Right now I'm looking at like a logo on the camera stand, on the light, on my microphone, on the thing that my microphone is in. I mean, they're just on my, all my computer stuff. It's just everything has like a logo on it that wants me to buy something, and it's just, I don't really appreciate that too much. So I like to be able to close this and there is nothing. So I actually think, even though I kind of opened it up and thought, oh, okay, there it is, it's not too bad. And it's actually quite subtle, I think. And it's not too ugly either, which doesn't matter, of course. It's just advertising, no matter how pretty it is. They probably have to have their logo somewhere, and I think this is actually a nice compromise, because I can close it and it's not like their logo is the closure or anything. It's just, is it? No, it's not. Do they have a square? No. Another thing that is a little bit for me is it says on all the needles what sizes they are. It says in white, and some places it's printed a little bit badly, and most places it has started to come off already, which is not great. In the beginning, when I saw them, I was also a little bit afraid that this the connector piece is brass, but I thought that maybe it was painted, because the needles are obviously painted. They are birch, but then there is some varnish on it, which make them darker, and then there is lacquer, I think. Please correct me if I'm getting all of this wrong, by the way. But they're very smooth, and that's super, super nice. But they are painted. And when the lacquer comes off at some point, they are going to be hard to work with. But it seems very solid. So I'm praying that they will hold up. But the fact that the size indicator here is already starting to come off, it's not a very good sign, I think, of the quality of the rest of the needle, even though they do seem to be in high quality. So I'm hoping that I am right about that, and that this is nothing to worry about. And also with the connector, I was a little bit afraid that maybe the brass was a color and that it was going to come off and they would be sort of silver underneath. I hope it won't. I think they're really pretty as they are. The wood is a little bit red, and then the connector goes very nice with it because they're this warm brass color. I think that's very pretty. And this brings me to the next thing, and this is my favorite thing of this whole box thing. I like the box. I want to keep the box, but I wish that it wasn't pilling. And this is then my favorite thing that I didn't know when I ordered it. This comes out as this little board where all of my needles are then on. I wish there would have been some sort of press-on, but I mean these are very nice too. It's just a piece of elastic that holds all of the needles, and that's fine. But I wish I had like 50 of these to put in a closet or in a drawer or something, just to have them laid out nicely to look at and to be able to peruse all of my knitting and crocheting equipment. I think I just want this. Might be a little silly, but I'm going to keep the box and I'm going to keep them in the box, but I'm thinking about maybe making some sort of thing like these, so that I can organize the rest of my knitting needles, because I don't really like all of the... Right now I have a drawer where all of my needles are in, and I have a couple of bags with all of my yarn, and then there is the rest of the equipment that are sort of in random places. And there are good ways of storing, but I think this is better. And I thinking about doing something with this now that I have seen how nice this is. And it really is. It feels like, when people have their tools and they have them up on the wall on the pegboard and have drawn around it, and this is the exact place for this thing. It's what it feels like to me anyway. And I really like both that the needles are high quality, but also that they're being kept in a way so that it feels like they're sort of high quality, nice needles. Then we have the pouch. I'm not as excited about this because it's just sort of a transparent plastic pouch. I'm thinking about maybe sewing a fabric one for it just to make it feel a little nicer, because the experience for me of pulling out my needles it's part of it. So I don't really appreciate the plasticky, cringly, yeah. I will say though that I had this is the smallest cable, by the way. That's why I'm not using it right now. I had a little bit of a surprise when I got to these, because in here is something that they call a connector. So basically what it is a little tube that can go on the end here of your cable when there are no needles on it, and you can screw it in place. And then you can take another cable and you can screw that. Now I only have this, so no, there are needles on that. So you could do this, but why would you? But you could put another cable on the other side and extend it so that you could make something really long. So if you wanted to use that shawl pin for something, you could make a cable that was 2 meters or something, and you could knit a very big shawl with it. I think that is super awesome. I've been needing this. The only thing is that, of course, these are silver and the connectors here are brass. So it doesn't look that good, but it's okay. I mean, it's not the biggest thing in the world. It didn't say that there were nickel in them. It just said that they weren't nickel free. So if you're allergic, or what is that called? When you're, I don't know, if you can't touch nickel things, it not the greatest. Having this many sizes of needles is of course nice. I think most people, especially beginners, choose either the thick end or the thin end, and they use mostly that. And it depends on what kind of knitting you like to do. So you don't need all of these, but I will say that it has been nice to be able to have all of them, because sometimes if you're trying to get a gauge and you're just a little bit off, it's very nice to just be able to go down a bit or go up a bit. It's just a bonus when you do have all of them. I will say though, it doesn't have a 3mm, and that is a big minus for me. None of the sets that I looked at had a 3mm. It goes from 3.5 to, what is this, 8. And I mean, I need the 3, but I have a couple of them already. I actually have multiple sets. And the other set that I do have fit with these cables also. So it's as if the connector thing comes from the same place, maybe. Does seem as if they all fit together, and that's very nice. Except, of course, for that the old ones that I have, the lacquer is not as thick, and therefore they have become very grabby. This is what I'm afraid of with the new ones too, that the lacquer will wear off, and that I'll be left with just the wood. That is super hard to work with, because it's so it grabs so much of the stitches that you almost can't move them. Of course, it's very nice if you have a hard time actually keeping the stitches on the needles. That is probably why I'm working with wood in the first place, because I have a hard time actually controlling it. And these are a little bit glossier than what I normally work with, but it's nice, and I'm getting better. So overall, I am very happy with this set, even though I am a bit disappointed with the box. The needles and the cables seem to be very high quality, and I'm happy with the accessories that comes with it. So if you have another way of storing your needles than in a box like this one, I think I would recommend getting one of the cheaper sets that come in a little pouch instead. So I almost finished this video, and I almost exported the file, but I just wanted to show you what happened when I grabbed the box just to put it away. This thing completely split here, and down here I think the glue just stopped holding anything. So yeah.